Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about Tesla having a huge, massive dip in share price as a result of Tesla, and can it recover? So with that being said, let's get it. So the first two things that we're going to show you guys is our own personal positions. So as you guys can see, we do still have our Tesla position. You can see I'm not sure what's going on with the text there, but you guys can see that we are currently down roughly about 33%. This $2,100 is basically what it is the unrealized, unrealized, meaning we have not sold, um, capital loss, basically with the dividends hedged against it, which gives us our true unrealized loss. So with the dividends included, we are only down roughly about $2,100. But keep in mind, we are also up nearly about 2.5 times that on the grayscale trusts currently. And the grayscale trusts have not even run up that much. So, just taking a look at the position, you guys can see our cost basis here. It's quite a bit. Our share price is quite a bit. We kind of thought that we were getting a good deal back then, but apparently not. That's okay. Not every trade is going to be perfect. The key here is to make more money than we lose. That is the goal. If we can do that if we can be right more often about making money than we are losing money, then we'll still get ahead ultimately. So as you guys can see, the yield here is just insane. It's nearly 100%. That's not going to change. So what are we doing with this portfolio? Well, really not much. We already have so much in here that we're just simply going to hold it. We'll get into whether we personally think the price of Tesla can recover or not here in a minute. But if we go over here to the Robinhood portfolio, we'll scroll down here to Tsla. And you guys can see the share price is pretty similar, although we did have a nice little bounce, roughly about 10 cents in the aftermarket hours yesterday. So as you guys can see on this position, we are down roughly about 40%. I'll be honest, that kind of sucks, but it's not nearly as bad as the other one. But keep in mind that this amount right here does not include dividends. So if we included the dividends in this, it would probably be maybe, I'd say somewhere about 40 to 50% of this actual number right here. So it's much smaller in comparison to what you see. But we are actually considering picking up some more shares of Tesla because it's gotten so cheap at this point. And there is another factor that we're going to throw in here in a minute, but we just wanted to show you guys real quick that that our positions have not moved. We have not bought, but we have not sold. We're just simply sitting on the position. So now let's go over to the price of Tesla on TradingView. So as you guys can see, we kind of did come out of that falling wedge here, but then we got rejected immediately off the EMAs. We're more or less showing you guys this price action just to kind of show you where potential buy and sell zones may be on the chart, but this price action on Tesla is not as relevant as Tesla. So, but as you guys can see over the last 4 trading weeks, this is on the weekly, mind you, from peak to trough, we've gone down roughly about 28% in price. So that kind of sucks. So what exactly happened? Well, basically, the earnings of Tesla came out negative, and then don't quote me on this. I didn't look specifically deep into details. We've been really busy. As you guys know, we do a lot of different stuff here, but from what I was able to gather, I believe Tesla was planning on spending more money on building out their infrastructure and their being able to manufacture more cars to go out in public. I could be wrong about that, but something along those lines, and it is going to require a massive expenditure, which means that they may potentially be pumping out more money than they're taking in. Although I highly doubt that's true. Basically, what I think it's going to do really ultimately, I'll have to look into the details later and let you guys know with a follow-up. But I think it's going to cut into some of the profit of the company, not actually their bottom line. But investors don't really like that. Investors like seeing companies that are cash flow positive, and they are currently cash flow positive. We did update you guys about this on X, but when it eats into the cash flow, that potentially also kind of eats into investor confidence. And investors are brutal when it comes to these companies. Like if investors are not doing what they want the companies to do. They will just absolutely mutilate these companies. They don't care. Money is money. It doesn't involve emotions. And if Elon Musk and Tesla are not going to give investors what they want, they're going to dump their shares. They're not going to care. I'll just be honest with you guys about that. I've been trading and looking at company balance sheets and whether they're making money or not, whether they're investable or not. We've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm just going to be frank with you guys. Investors don't care if they don't have enough confidence to invest in Tesla. They're not going to. They're going to sell their shares off and say, okay, we'll come back at a later time when Tesla looks more profitable, and maybe at that point in time we will invest some money back into the company. Now, does it mean that it's going to sell off in the immediate short term to midterm? Not necessarily. Investing is much more complicated than that. So we're going to take a look at Tesla now. One thing you have to understand is this was kind of a sell the news event. So if we scroll down here to the daily real quick, you guys can see the earnings. We did update you about this on X, or update this to you on X. You guys can see that they had a slight miss on both earnings and on the revenue portion, although I don't think it was really all that dramatic. But this is a Mag 7 company, so Wall Street and all those guys, they're holding this company to the highest standards. If they're not picture perfect, then they're going to sell it off. They're not going to care. So the way I think this is going to play out, and of course it doesn't have to play out this way, is basically everybody panic sold. They wanted to get out of their investments, and they didn't like the news, so they just said, screw it, I'm just going to sell, take my profits, or cover my position, cut my losses now and come back at a later time. And I think what's going to happen is a lot of buy-in support is probably going to come in around this area right here. So if we see a huge reversal on this stock, it's going to happen somewhere in here, in my opinion, somewhere between this 150 zone to roughly about 170. Could it bounce off of this downward channel? Absolutely, that could happen. But I think that the major turning point is going to be somewhere in here. Maybe even down as low as 140 on this trend line. But as for this trend line in this support zone, I do not think that these are going to break. This is just my personal opinion. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the fundamentals were the sell the news event, and the technicals are what's going to push the price of Tesla back up. So why do I think that Tesla could actually recover? First of all, yes, I do think that TSLY and Tesla can recover. If we take a look at the technicals here, you guys can see, yes, we had a bad earnings, but do understand that the RSI was getting massively overbought here on the daily. And we did hit roughly about the top of this channel on the weekly time frame, which means that people that were buying down here are going to take profit. So it kind of all converged on itself. I'll be honest with you guys. If I was buying down here or buying down here and the bad earnings came out, I probably would have taken profit too, or I probably would have even taken profit up here even before the earnings, looking back at this earnings saying, okay, this earnings was negative, Fed's still tightening, maybe I should just get out and not wait for the earnings. And that's pretty much how I would have seen it. But you guys can see the technicals with the RSI plays out almost every time. When we hit oversold here, we bounced. When we hit oversold here, we bounced. And then you have, of course, the inverses, these peaks on the RSIs and being overbought. On this one, we sold off massively. We are currently in oversold territory. Then you have this one where it kind of was diverging, RSI going down, price going up, and we did eventually sell off. So this was your early warning signal to like, hey, get out of Tesla because it might be dumping soon. Not financial advice. And as you guys can see here on the bear market lows, we also had a huge bounce. So I want to point out something to you guys here that you probably didn't notice right away. But if we zoom in here on the RSI, you can see the shade of red. That indicates that we are actually oversold on Tesla right now on the daily time frame, which is a significant time frame. A lot of swing traders use this time frame and even investors. But the last time that we hit this red shade right here was roughly around the bear market bottom of 2022. From that point, we went up almost 200% in price. So we basically went up roughly about a 3x. Could something similar happen? Sure. We could bounce and we could go probably, I would say, at least back up to 300, maybe even as high as 380. And I do think that's a realistic possibility because Tesla is a very kind of crazy-ish stock. You can see it had this massive run up here. Once again, you can see the RSI was oversold here. What happened? And funny enough, it hit this trend line when it happened. Went up about 1,400%, and then you got oversold on the RSI here as well. Hit the trend line, then it went up massively, and then sold. So could we see something similar? Absolutely. It could come down, hit this trend line, still be oversold, and then have a humongous pump to the upside. Okay. So this is what's going on with Tesla and Tesla. Do I think that Tesla can recover? Yes, I do. I'm going to state multiple reasons why. Number one, it's a Mag 7 company. Any company, as we've showed you guys before, that has ever hit $1 trillion in market cap within the United States has only ever gone up higher over time. Okay. Amazon, well, not Facebook, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple. I mean, those companies hit $1 trillion. Yeah, sure, they might have had some pullbacks or some crazy dumps along the way, but eventually they did end up going higher. You can go back and look at the charts and the market capitalizations for yourself, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So that's the first reason. Second reason is that Tesla is not. I would say that Tesla is probably more comparable to like an Amazon or a Google than it would be something like Microsoft or Apple, for example. Why do I say this? Because Tesla is kind of a jack of all trades. So Amazon has a lot of different features. Okay, you can shop online with them. You can have stuff delivered to your door. They have delivery services. They have what is it? Amazon Video or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called, but you can watch movies with them. You can use their Amazon Web Services. You can open an FBA business with them. There is a lot of things you can do with Amazon. Okay, they have their hand in multiple pots. So Tesla is very similar. Tesla is very similar in the fact that they're diversified among industries. Okay. They have the electric vehicle industry, but they also have fully self-driving autonomy. Okay. So there's that. They have the underground tunnels where the cars can kind of go past traffic in these underground tunnels, like 100, 150 miles an hour. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they have that. They also have their own AI now to basically teach itself to learn how to drive these vehicles effectively, and not sure what else they're doing with it, but probably putting that in the robots as well. But they have that also, and they also have the robotics side. So in my personal opinion, I think that each one of those sectors, the autonomous electric vehicles, the underground tunnels where the cars can drive in the underground tunnels, the AI supercomputer itself, the dojo, and the robotics by themselves could all be at least $1 trillion industry within Tesla. So each one of those could produce at least $1 trillion in revenue, in my opinion. We all know that Tesla is not currently valued at 4 trillion, but at some point in the future, it could become possible. And they have proven that all these things work already. So if you guys haven't done your research and gone and looked at all these things on Tesla, go look for yourself. They are actually viable options as of currently. They're not within mass adoption, but everything's got to start from somewhere, right? So if it can be imagined, it can be created. That's what I always say. But I do think that Tesla and Tesla will actually recover. In my opinion, I think we are closer to a recovery and a move to the upside than most people probably realize. This RSI confluence here should clearly spell this out. Again, RSI oversold, chart oversold, bounces off the trend line, goes up massively. RSI oversold, chart oversold, bounces off the trend line, goes up massively, and now the RSI is oversold again. This has only happened 3 times in the last 4 years. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys are still bullish on Tesla or if you're bearish now. Of course, you're free to speak your mind about that. That's fine. We're just going to currently hold our position and maybe buy some more in Robinhood. But yeah, anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.